Hello folks, I hope you're having a very wonderful day. I've got a problem with my pickup. My air conditioning started giving me a problem, and so I did some inspecting and some checking on some things, and I think what it is, we're going to find out today if it is this little apparatus right here. This is the fan blower motor resistor. So I'm going to show you how to change one of these on a 1500 Silverado. It's a 2006, as I said, but this works. It's basically the same for a whole lot of different vehicles. This part runs about $25 off of Amazon or wherever you find one, and I ordered it. I got it in today, and so I'm going to take you through this. Now, to get to it, goes right up under here. Now, to get to it, there's 4 7mm bolts, and one right here, and then there's one right here in the middle. There's one that's right here, and then there's one right here. So those 4 bolts have to come out, and when that does, then we will pull this big plastic cover right here. It's pretty good size, and we'll take that off, and then we'll be able to get to it. Let me work on that for a moment. Okay, now I've got working on this thing for a moment now, and I'm taking these 4 7mm bolts out. One of them being a little bit cantankerous. As I said, my air conditioning wasn't blowing, and that is a necessary thing when it gets real hot, and I think you'd agree with that. And so, with that being said, really want to get this thing fixed up and going again. I got one more got to pull out right here. Okay, now, okay, so I put my poles over here out of the way so I don't lose them. I have the ability to do such as that. Now, to get this loose, you have to reach in the back, because it wants to come off, but it's not quite there yet. And so in order to get that off, I've got to reach back up under here and pry it down from if I can find that spot. There's a sweet spot that you have to, well, there's that sweet spot right there. I have to take that bolt the rest of the way out. I thought I had it. That's the sweet spot, getting the bolt out. Now, with all of them out, it just slides right out of there. Okay, with that done, we have our little unit is right here. This is the second one that has been put in here, and I'm seeing a problem right now that we may not have to change this. We're going to find out. I should have checked this before, but I did. This bundle of wires, there's 7 wires that come out of the connector that holds this in place. There's a 7-pin connector right there, and I just realized when I took this apart that with these wires bundled together, and they do this, they get hot in there, and it looks like that this wire has melted against another wire, so it may be our problem. I'm not sure. I may be able to take that loose. Well, I may be wrong there. Tell you what, it could be that is a heat shrink. That was one of those heat shrink sleeves, and it may be that was what that was, because it looked like it was just stuck on there. So I'm going to take and remove those two 5mm screws. There's one right here, and there's one over on this side. Now, before I do that, and this will slip in there just like it'll go in there just like that, right up in that hole. But the thing, before I do that, I've got to unhook this wire. And this wire, this red and black wire, hooks to the fan motor itself. And it's a little bit not easy to get to. So I'll take a little bitty screwdriver, a little flat screwdriver, and well, I just found out something. There's a plate on the bottom of the blower motor that it will come off, it'll pop off, and that lets you get to that. It exposes that keeper on that wire. Let's take our 5mm wrench socket, and let's take those two screws out. Oh, and before we do that, we're going to unhook our little harness here, and there's a little keeper on that as well. Now, this is the second time that this has been replaced on this pickup. I did this, it's been a couple of 3 years ago, but it's something that happens with these vehicles, and maybe they do it just so that they get you in the shop, work on them. But we're not gonna say that today. But sometimes, you know, it can be a disappointment when it's 105 and you have no air conditioning. Now, I will tell you, I had the blower worked on 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was the high speed that did not work. I could have gotten by with it, I guess, but now that just pops right out of there. It didn't seem to be melted to it or anything. So let's go ahead and, well, looks like I was incorrect. I believe that is also, now that's a 6mm. Okay, looks like we about got it. Snap that connector in there. Now we'll put our red and black wire to the motor itself. We'll get that plugged in here where it goes. Okay, it's plugged in. Now, when I put the key in and I turn it to accessory, let's see what I've got. Okay. All right, I don't know if you heard that, but because of what I did, I've got a little problem. My motor, my fan motor, is dropped down because this apparatus, this little plate on the bottom that popped off, has got to go back in place to hold that on there. And that's okay, because when we get that back in place, unless I broke something and didn't know it, we should be all right. But the motor worked. Okay. All right. That's kind of tricky. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Don't take that off unless you just have to. Let's see if our fan works on high now. That's high. That's 4. That's 3. That's 2. That's 1. And that's off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'll tell you, that solved our problem. So, if you have similar issues on your vehicle and the fan does not have all of the speeds, just remember, change out that little resistor part right there. But check and make sure that it fits, and the one that you need fits your blower or your model and your make of vehicle. You have a great day. God bless you, and we will do a next video. We'll see you on the next one. Would you do me a favor? Would you subscribe to my channel? And would you also, after you subscribe, would you hit like, help with the thing, comment on what I send, and it would be very much appreciated. Thank you, folks. God bless.